Department T is back in session, calling the matter of Ignacio Avila Jr. versus Rosie Martinez and Henry Oliva, D-15515-892-C. Could everybody please state their appearances for the record?
Good afternoon, Judge. This is Kimber Locks, bar 15263, on behalf of plaintiff Ignacio, who is here to my left. I also still have in my office Astasia Lucas, who is taking notes. She's off screen.
Thank you, Ms. Locks. Thank you, Ms. Lucas. Other appearances?
Theodore Medlin for Bowen Law Offices, bar number 15284. Here in the same room off camera is Henry Oliva.
Hello, Mr. Medlin. And any other appearances?
Rosie Martinez, Your Honor, present.
Hello, Ms. Martinez. Are counsel and parties ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Call your... Well, I suppose at this time we're going to go to cross-examination of Ignacio. Mr. Medlin, are you ready?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, let's proceed.
Procedurally...
sorry, Judge, does my client need to be sworn back in? I'm not sure if that needs to happen again after lunch, or...
He's still under oath, so no.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
I just looked at my clerk and she confirmed, so we're good.
Okay, thanks.
Procedurally, does the court wish me to keep it exclusively to cross, or will some direct be acceptable to prevent calling him again, our case in chief?
Well, let's see what Ms. Locke says.
I don't mind if we just handle all of the questions for my client at once. That way he doesn't have to be called back again.
Okay. And I'll try to be thorough in that regard then.
Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ignacio.
Good afternoon.
Earlier you discussed where you were living. I missed the address. But who do you reside with at that location?
For myself,
Just yourself, no roommates, no...
no.
Okay. How big is it?
How big is the lot?
The house?
Yeah, like, I mean, be more specific as to how big is what.
Okay. The residence where you reside, is it a house or an apartment?
A house, 3-bedroom house.
Okay. When Jazlyn stays there with you, where does she stay?
She stays with me, and sometimes, like, if it's too late, we'll stay with Auntie Pauline. She has her own bed, her own room. But that's if it's late at night.
So Jazlyn has her own room?
Yes.
Does Auntie reside with you?
No.
Okay. How much is the rent per month?
My mortgage is $1,300.
Mortgage. My apologies. You own?
Correct.
And Mr. Medlin,
Okay.
what is the relevance of these questions on a paternity case?
Are we not going through his ability to care for the child?
Okay.
If you don't want me to, if you want to be
I
purely...
just wanted to hear an offer of proof to see where you were going with it. But, okay, go ahead.
Okay, and where do you work, sir?
Caesar's Palace Hotel and Casino.
Okay. And which department?
Warehouse Receiving, Dock.
Excellent. Do you and Miss Rosa have any sort of child support payment?
Yes, we do. And it's $400 monthly.
Okay. $400 from you to her?
Yes.
Okay. You discussed earlier that Rosa went to clothes shopping for Alan. Is that true?
For both of the kids.
Okay. Who purchased the clothes on that day?
She did.
And do you take Alan shopping?
Sometimes when I'm allowed to see him.
Okay, and about how much is...
Or I also ask Rosa to see the size, and then either I'll send him with his clothes, or I'll just keep it because I'm thinking I'm gonna have him.
Okay. If you could estimate about how much per month do you spend on Alan for his...
Monthly, well, this is a while back too, but I would spend like almost 100 to 200. But every time that I see things like if he needs shoes, I'll purchase him shoes, but I'll spend like 200, 300. But I let him choose, but I'll buy him whatever he wants, whatever he needs.
Do you know who Alan's teacher is?
At the moment, I do not know because they're doing virtual.
Okay. What school does he attend?
John Tarden Elementary.
And do you have access to any of his records?
I do not have access at the moment.
Fair to say it's a messy situation a little bit. Are you able to talk to the teacher?
No.
Have you tried reaching out to the teacher?
No.
Have you made any effort to contact the school?
The only way that I can get access if I have any rights to him with a court order, but or an emergency contact, which I tried it once, and this says that I'm not an emergency contact.
Okay, so did you try contacting the school, or who told you this?
Sandy, the receptionist at John Tarden.
So you did contact the school?
I tried to get access for him because I care about him.
Okay. Did you ask Miss Rosie if you could have access to his information?
Yes, I have.
And where is that in your record?
It's either 2020 text messages, even 2019 text messages, and 2018 text messages, where I asked to see if I can pick them up, or I asked to see if I can have access.
Okay. More specifically, have you ever asked Henry if you could have access to his school records?
No, I have not asked.
Are you religious, Ignacio?
Yes, Christian.
Is Christian any denomination, Catholic, or...
No.
No?
Christian.
Okay. Do you attend church with the child when they're in your possession?
Objection. You said, do you attend church with the child when they are in your possession? Are you talking about Alan or Jazlyn or both?
Do you take either of the children when they're in your possession to church?
Rosalind, some Sundays, because I have her every other weekend. But there'll be times where I do take her at 9 o'clock at the South Valley View Church.
That was going to be my next question. Thank you. Do you take her every weekend?
Sometimes, depending on what Rosie says, if it's okay for Rosie.
Does Jazlyn have any medical needs that you have helped with?
No, not medical needs.
Does she go to the dentist?
Yeah, she recently went to the dentist a few days ago.
Oh, just a few days ago.
Correct.
What did you go to the dentist for?
Cleanup and a checkup. And they removed a space cleaner on the right bottom tooth.
Okay. Changing gears a little bit, you mentioned that you think, just to paraphrase, that Mr. Henry's test was fake. You recall that line of testimony?
Yes, that it was fake.
Okay. You said it seemed made up. On what do you base that theory?
What do you mean?
On what theory do you believe that the Gen X test is fake?
I looked at the boxes and it didn't make sense as to why is it that they didn't have his last name and Alan's last name as well, and the date that was taken, and there's no lab scientific what's it called, doctor or laboratory signature. There's just a lot of red flags that somebody seems like to make it up. I also check in the genetics website too. The only way that I can find out is to have a user and a password. The only way.
So you don't have access to this particular company's test, correct?
Correct. Sorry.
You're basing all your knowledge off of the company you used, which was what?
Well, not going based on the company, but going based on the person that sent it to me. I think that's something that he made it up just to make me believe that it was his also.
Okay, so you mistrust the person and therefore you mistrust the test.
Yes.
Were you aware that you could request that test through the discovery process that was open for 6 months?
You mean during the Hardcastle situation? Judge
No.
Hardcastle?
Since Hardcastle, in the past 10 months or so since your June hearing, were you aware you could demand that test in discovery?
No, I was not aware of that. But I did talk to both of them regarding that situation, and I did talk to Peruzzi regarding that false DNA, and we also brought it up in 2018 hearing.
So if you thought this test was false, why didn't you ask my client to give it to you in discovery?
Well, he didn't even answer to anything of the complaints before that January when he got served.
I'm sorry, I'm discussing the past 10 months.
10 months.
Since the June hearing, were you aware you could ask for that?
No, I didn't know about that.
Thank you. I don't believe we went through all of the text messages you sent back and forth with Henry. Did you ask Henry for visitation time with Alan in those?
I didn't ask him visitations because he knew about it too. Why would he offer me visitations as well?
So your text messages were only about the test?
Yes, because I cannot ask for visitation if he's not mine.
Well, at the time you were texting with Henry back and forth, were you not already seeing Alan during that time?
Yeah. But that was with Rosie, though, as well.
And did you want to see Alan more?
I'm sorry?
Did you want to see the child more?
If he was mine, if they were to show me the real DNA, that if it wasn't his or if it was his. I mean, if it was his, I would leave that alone and I would just focus on my daughter.
So you only want a relationship with this child if it's yours?
Okay, the court can't handle the constant use of it. It's going to be Alan or he. Please proceed, both of you. No more it.
Yes, Your Honor. So you only would like a relationship with Alan if he is yours biologically?
Rosie and I were fine, and I would.
I'm sorry, that yes or no question?
Yeah, yes, I would, have an only relationship if he was mine. But regardless, I mean, if I'm not the father, I'm not just gonna remove somebody from the parent as well. I mean, that's not fair. And to be called dad, that's like none of my business. It's just, I just wanted to know if he was not mine or mine, if Alan was mine.
Okay. You remember discussing your Toys R Us trip? I think it was a picture on page 94.
Correct.
And again on page 96 with Lisa. Correct?
Yes.
Why were you, quote, spoiling Alan?
Because that's when the mom allowed me to take Alan, because we confirmed that he was mine through a LabCorp DNA. And my parents were here, and my parents were excited to see that Alan's part of the family as well.
Okay. So, have you ever talked to the child about his have you ever talked to Alan specifically about his paternity?
No.
Why would Miss Rosa say that you mentioned who his father was to?
Objection, speculation. He can't testify as to what Rosie's thinking.
Sustained. Ask it a different way.
Your Honor, that's what my son told me.
I know you're trying to help, Rosie, and you're not a lawyer, and I get it. Right now, when there's one witness on the stand, the lawyers get to ask the questions. You don't get to interrupt.
Okay.
It's just a procedural thing. If people try to do it a lot, then I end up muting them. I don't think I'm going to need to do that because I think you
No,
understand.
I didn't. No, okay. I apologize.
Just wanted you to know. It's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead again, counsel.
Do you think it's appropriate to discuss who might be a child's father with them?
No. Especially in this situation with custodial. No, sorry.
So you would never do such a thing?
Nope.
Glad to hear. I think I'm done for now, Your Honor.
You're done?
Yes.
Including direct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I
Ms. Locks?
I just have a couple questions. Actually, probably just one. Opposing counsel, Ignacio, I'm going to ask you questions now. Opposing counsel asked if you ever requested a copy of the fake test through Discovery. Do you know what Discovery is, even?
No.
Okay. And did you ask for a copy of the test just directly to Henry at some point?
At some point, like recently, no.
At any time, did you ask him for a copy of the test?
Yes.
And did he provide it?
No.
And as far as you're aware, I know you said you don't know what Discovery is. Have you ever seen the test? Has Henry ever given you the test as far as these proceedings are concerned? Have you ever seen that test physically?
No. Physically, no.
Okay, I'm done, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Any recross?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Call your next witness.
Actually, Judge, I wouldn't like to call any witnesses at this time. We're ready to rest our case.
Okay. Mr. Medlin, call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call Henry Oliva to the stand. Forgive me while I move some camera work.
Okay. We're going to need to move the camera up a little bit on Mr. Henry.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Don't
Sir,
swivel
please
in
raise
the
your right hand. Do you and each of you do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And Mr. Medlin, I just want to remind you, please refer to your client as Henry, okay? I know you said Mr. Oliva, but I need your help on that one, counsel, okay?
I'm so sorry.
No, you're perfect. Just wanted to remind you. Thank you.
Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Henry Antonio Oliva, Henry Antonio Oliva.
Okay. And do you know Miss Rosa Martinez?
Yes.
What is your relationship with her?
Currently, she is now my ex.
And when was your relationship with her current?
The last year probably was that we were still together. It was like 2017.
Can the court hear him all right?
Kind of. I wish she was a little louder.
Sorry, I forgot to move the microphone. So I'm sorry, specifically between what times was your relationship with Miss Martinez?
We met back in 1999. Actually, it was quite later than 99, closer to 2000.
Okay. And when did your relationship end?
We stopped living together in 2017.
Okay. Did you have any children with Miss Martinez?
Yes.
How many and who are they?
3. Starting from the youngest, Jazlyn. Her last name is Avila, Alan Oliva, and Henry Oliva.
And how old is each of those children?
$13, $9, and 7.
Okay. And are they all your biological children?
No.
Okay. When did you first discover that some of them were not your biological children?
The first one I discovered was for Jazlyn, and this was when she was approximately about 6 months old.
Okay. And at that time, did you have any reason to believe that the other were not your children?
No.
Did you do anything at that time to confirm they were your children?
No.
Did you take any tests?
Not at that time.
Did you take any tests since that time till now?
Yeah, I did do one test.
Okay. What was the company?
I do not recall.
How did you get the test?
Through Google search is how I found out.
Okay.
How I found the company.
How did you take the test?
Well, they mailed out a kit, and when I had the kids present, I went ahead and swabbed them and sent it out by mail.
And about when was this?
This was late, probably about 2014, if I remember correctly.
Okay. And how did you get your results?
Electronically.
Okay. Were they sent to you by email, or did you have to log into a service?
I believe I logged into the service, and that's how I was able to view it. I don't recall exactly.
Okay. What did the results tell you at that time in 2014?
That that pretty much my biggest focus was more on the results for Alan, and that's what I focused on, and showed that I was the father.
Okay. Did you take tests of the other two children?
Yes.
Okay. Did you send them all in together?
Yes.
I'm
How
sorry,
did you label?
I just wanted to object because I don't know, send them all in, I don't know what you mean by where sending to, can you clarify that? I'm sorry.
I mailed them out.
I thought he gave testimony that he mailed them to the service. Are you looking for
So
an address?
mailed the kit? I didn't know if it was the kit or the results or what we're talking about.
I mailed the kit that was supplied to me. I mailed once I was finished, completed. I put it in an envelope and sent it out.
Thank you for your help. So, when you discovered Jazlyn was not your child, back in what year?
It would have been about 2014.
Counsel, do you think
So
you could ask that last question one more time, please? I had to speak with somebody in the courtroom. I need you to ask that question again.
Yes, Your Honor. When did you discover that Jazlyn was not your child?
2014.
And what changed in your life with Jazlyn at that time?
At that time, nothing had changed. I mean, I still took care of her. I still raised her. We still did. Rosie and myself did the regular parenting, where if she had to go to work in the evening, then I would stay home in the evening with all three of the kids, with Henry, Alan, and Jazlyn, and I would take care of her needs as far as formula, diaper change.
So you still acted as though she was your child
Yes,
in 2014 after you learned she was not biologically yours.
yes.
How long did that go on?
Till the right now. It still continues till now. I never exclude her. Whenever I have a chance to spend time with her, I never exclude her from from Henry and Alan. It's always have them together and equal. What somebody would, for example, if somebody.
I'm sorry, I think we're getting a little bit far afield of my question. I just want to keep us between the goalposts. Did your physical time with Jazlyn change between 2014 and now? Your
Yes.
physical custody time.
Yes.
When did that change happen?
Late in 2014, she started spending some time with Ignacio.
When you say spending some time, about how much time?
At that time, it was usually the weekends,
Every weekend?
or at least every other weekend.
Okay, and you would have her with Rosa all the rest of the time?
The rest of the time, yes.
How long did that arrangement go?
Once there was a court ordered, then that arrangement changed.
When did that court order happen?
When Rosie and Ignacio went to court to fight custody, and there was a court, the court order was assigned at that time, which would have been in 2015.
And how old was Jazlyn at this time?
About 1.5 approximately.
Okay. You mentioned being concerned about Alan's paternity. When did you strike. Let me collect my thoughts, Your Honor. I apologize.
Yeah, you're okay. We've got all day. No problem.
When did you start having doubts about Alan's paternity?
You mean like not thinking that he probably was not mine?
Yes.
I always believed he was mine. The only time that I had a doubt, or not really a doubt, but it got me thinking as a shock, was when Ignacio had mentioned it to me.
And when did Ignacio first mention it to you?
He mentioned it the one time that I went to pick up Jazlyn because Rosie was at work, and he approached me and asked me if Rosie had told me already. And I said I didn't know what he was talking about.
Okay. Did you later discover what he was talking about?
So then when I asked him what he was talking about, then he said that Alan was probably not mine.
And about what year was this?
Maybe about 2016, I believe.
Okay. And at that time, how old was Alan?
Approximately about 5.
Okay. Who does Alan currently reside with?
He spends time between Rosie and myself.
What's that timeshare?
Usually it consists of Wednesday through Saturday, he will be with me, and Sunday through Tuesday, he will be with Rosie. And sometimes in between that time, there'll be an alternate day where he might go with Rosie.
Why would he go with Rosie on one of your days?
Just to give him an opportunity. Maybe he wanted to go back, spend some time with her, or go home and to play with maybe some stuff that he has at his other home.
So you allow him to go freely based off of what he wants?
No, not necessarily. Not based on what he wants.
Okay. What other factors besides?
Sometimes he wants to spend time with Jazlyn, and so when he wants to go play with her, and one of those days that she's there, he will go over with her and spend time with her.
Okay. Do you know the name of Alan's teacher?
Yes, currently, yes.
And who's?
So currently, Mrs. Reiner is in charge, Miss Reiner.
Okay, and how is he doing in school?
The last feedback I got from her, he was doing great. That she was really happy with his performance and using some of his work as an example for the class.
Okay. Has he always done well in school?
Yes. Yes, to when school in person.
What do you mean?
Prior to online. So when physically in school, he has always done good.
How does he perform when he's online?
When he has line, he has a little bit of a struggle adapting to the classes going through the online courses.
Do you know how he compares to his other classmates?
So usually that I try to have feedback on a weekly basis from his teachers, and some of the times that I've spoken with them, they actually said that he's not as bad as other kids.
Okay. Does Alan have any medical needs that you take care of?
I take him to the dentist is what his is an ongoing thing for him and Henry also.
ongoing? How often?
We try to do it, excuse me, when his cleanings
Bless
are due.
you, Henry.
Thank you. Based on when his cleanings are due, or if I happen to see something or he has a discomfort, then I schedule an appointment.
Does he have bad teeth?
He has some opportunity, but he still has baby teeth.
How often do you make trips to the dentist?
Prior to COVID, we were doing the regular every 6 months checkup that they would have.
Do your other children have any dental troubles?
Henry also has some opportunity to his dentist needs. Jazlyn also had some opportunity for her dental needs.
Did you ever take Jazlyn to the dentist?
Counsel, I'm confused. I don't know if I'm hearing Henry incorrectly. He's talking about the kids having opportunity? Is that the word?
If I can paraphrase for him, he seems to not want to use problem. I say dental problems and he uses dental opportunities.
Okay. So, okay. Do you think you could clean up that line of questioning? It's all of us kind of look confused on the video.
When you say dental opportunities, what do you mean?
They might have a tooth that is loose and might need to be looked at. They might have a cavity or decay that might be visible, but I'm not completely sure if that's what it is.
Why do you call them opportunities?
Opportunities because they could have better teeth in a perfect world.
Why not use the more common term of problem or sickness, or why choose opportunities?
Because an opportunity meaning that they could turn it around and make their teeth be better, or look better, or being corrected.
Does that satisfy the court?
It helps, yes, thank you. Do we need to take a minute break for your client, counsel? Maybe we should.
I'm okay.
He's been downing chloroseptic all day. So if I'm out next week, you'll know why.
Okay, counsel.
So did you ever take Jazlyn to the dentist for her dental needs opportunities?
No, I attempted to.
When did you attempt to?
Back in 2019.
What dental needs did she have at that time?
I could see that her teeth, or there was one or two teeth that might have some decay on there, or looked abnormal.
And you scheduled a visit?
Yes,
Why didn't Jazlyn make it to that visit?
because I was not able to be with her that day.
Did you ask to take her to her visit?
Yes, I asked Rosie.
Who did you? Rosie only? Did you ask Mr. Ignacio?
No.
Okay. Do you and Mom have a child support arrangement?
We have a verbal agreement on what the kids need.
How does that look if the children need clothes?
Depending on the needs, she might buy certain clothes for one boy. I might buy certain clothes for the other boy. Or if they need shoes, we might alternate shoes one time. They might alternate shoes the other time.
And you guys have worked this out without any written down agreement?
Yes.
Do you believe you could continue to work that out without court agreement?
Yes.
Where do you work?
Currently, I do not have an actual job.
How do you make an income?
I'm currently a contractor for a rideshare.
Uber or Lyft?
Both.
Both. Okay. About how much do you make a week at that job?
The amount can range depending on the need on rides and availability. That I might have between 400 to 700.
If you could guesstimate an average?
700.
Okay. Are you able to take care of your needs and the children's needs with that money?
Yes.
Where do you live?
Are you asking for the address?
That would be helpful.
I currently live at 5729 Awakening Street, North Las Vegas, 89081.
And how large is the house, apartment?
2,400 square feet.
How many bedrooms?
4.
Do each of your children have their own space?
Yes.
And what's the rent or mortgage on that property?
Approximately 1,700.
Okay. Are you particularly religious?
Yes.
Which denomination?
I am Catholic.
Okay. Do you take your children to receive Catholic instruction?
Yes.
All of them?
I was at one point doing all of them, but Henry and Alan were the two that were able to finish.
When you say finish, finish what?
They used to go to a catechism class.
And for the court's knowledge, can you tell us what a catechism is?
A catechism is a preparation that, through the church that takes 2 years approximately for them to go through. Once they've attended the 2 years and they have learned the process, they're able to receive communion.
And Alan and Henry Jr. completed it.
Yes,
What about Jazlyn?
she did it.
Was she enrolled?
Yes,
About how long did she go?
she went for approximately maybe 3 sessions.
Did you and Mom agree on this religious instruction?
Yes,
So why was she withdrawn?
due to the fact that Ignacio would not want her to come with me or take her to the class.
Okay. How do you spend your time with your kids?
So basically, when I have all 3 together, at a point I try to make it a point for them to all interact with each other, and we'll do different activities as far as fishing, maybe swimming, going to the lake, going to the arcade, going to the movies,
Okay.
building stuff.
You mentioned fishing. What do you fish with? What supplies?
We use fishing pole, just a regular pole.
Okay. Does each child have their own fishing pole?
Yes.
How often do you see Jeff?
Excuse me. Usually, she might come maybe twice a month, maybe. I see her, but physically, where she being with me, maybe about twice a month, approximately.
You buy her own fishing pole?
Yes.
For swim trips, you mentioned swim trips. Does
Yes.
each child have their own supplies?
Yes.
You mentioned building things. What do you build?
Sometimes we had a project a year ago where we were putting a shed together, and I had all 3 of them work together along with me, building that shed.
Did they each have their own supplies?
They each had the tool that needed at that time. There was enough supplies for everybody. Enough screwdrivers if needed, or if the drill was needed, there was enough for each one to have.
How would you share the work?
Depending on what we did, maybe one would hold the wall up, while the other one would add to the wall, or one would hand the hardware to me. So I worked more with Jazlyn, so she would hand me the hardware that I needed, or help me maybe hold the part together. until I was able to secure it.
Do you ever talk to the children about who their father may be?
No.
How do your children call you?
Dada.
How long have they called you Dada?
Since the first word they spoke. So when Henry's first words were Dada, Alan's first words were Dada. And Jazlyn's second word was Dada. Her first one was Nana.
What if this court was to tell you that Jazlyn and Alan were not your children? Would you still let them call you Dada?
Of course. And I always tell them that I'll always be their Dada.
Would you treat them any differently?
No.
Would you get rid of Jazlyn's fishing pole?
No. I still have her baby toys.
What does it mean to you to be a dad?
To be able to provide for the kids emotional, physical, good health, be a leader and have them love each other and work together as brothers and sisters.
Counsel, Mr. Medlin, my clerk is
Yes.
indicating it looks like we lost Mom, but I just can't see Mom. Could Mom turn on her video?
I just went to get a napkin.
Where'd you go? Can you turn your video, or is your video's still on? I can't see you.
I can see her.
I'm here.
We can't see her.
I'm here.
Okay.
I can see her as well, Judge.
We can't. We see a black screen. Hold that thought. Take a minute, Mr. Medlin and Henry. We have to figure this out.
I'm here.
Okay, can you turn your video on and off, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I see letters. There she is. Okay. Oh, she left again. Rosie?
Hold on. It's like for now.
Did she
Right
turn-
there?
Did she turn her video off? There she is. Oh. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I can see you. Thank you, Mom. Sorry.
Right.
Mr. Medlin, Henry, please proceed.
I'm happy to pass the witness that's there, Your Honor. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Sorry, I was kicked off for a moment, so I had to log back in. I don't know if that was everyone or just me, but I'm back now. Was there a question asked, or was it? Did we just realize that Rosie is on?
We talked about first words, fishing poles, that he would still
Yes,
allow
okay,
the kids to say Dada.
Yes, I was there for all of that. Thank you. Okay.
With
Henry.
that, I will pass the witness.
Thank you, counsel. Henry, a couple of questions for you. My client was asked earlier why he had not requested the DNA test that you took. Why wouldn't you provide that to him?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. When my client asked you for a copy of the DNA test that you took for Alan, why did you not provide it to him?
I never saw him, up close ever again, or had the need to meet him or see him or ever.
Okay, and could you have given those to Rosie to give to him?
Possibly.
Okay. And you're aware that you and your attorney provided to my client some birth certificates and things like that, correct?
I'm sorry, you cut out.
Can you hear me okay?
Okay, go ahead.
You're aware that you and your attorney provided some documents to my client, such as birth certificates and things like that. Is that right?
Yes.
And why didn't you also provide the DNA test that you had taken for Alan?
I wasn't asked to provide it.
Okay, so in this paternity action to determine whether Alan is your child or Ignacio's, you didn't feel like it was important to share that?
I wasn't asked that we needed that.
Were you asked that you needed the birth certificates?
Yes.
Okay. When Ignacio first approached you about Alan's paternity at that exchange of Jazlyn, was he confrontational?
He just approached me and asked me if Rosie had already told me.
And was he aggressive in his tone? What was his tone like when he asked you?
Normal, friendly.
Okay, has he ever raised his voice or been aggressive toward you?
At times that maybe I've seen him maybe made a comment here and there.
Do you remember what those were or when that happened?
Well, basically, like one time saying, kind of threatening me saying, oh, we'll see what happens at court, and his demeanor wasn't a friendly demeanor.
Okay. Have you ever asked Ignacio to pay child support for Alan?
No.
Have you ever asked him to contribute for Alan's clothes or anything like that?
No.
Okay. You said that Ignacio didn't want for Jazlyn to attend catechism. How did you know that he didn't want that?
Rosie told me.
Did you ever ask Ignacio directly?
No.
Okay, why not?
I don't have a need to speak with him.
Okay, so you seem a little bit upset that maybe Jazlyn wasn't able to complete catechism, but what didn't rise to the level of reaching out to Ignacio and trying to reach middle ground on that?
To prevent conflict, because the main point was that he did not want her spending time with me, and to prevent conflict between us or the mother.
And that was according to Rosie, correct? Ignacio never said that to you directly?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you said that Jazlyn was with Ignacio every other weekend, or at least that's what my client testified to. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay, and couldn't she have gone to catechism during Rosie's time?
The classes weren't, well, actually, the catechism was on part of Rosie's time. Basically, it wasn't Rosie's time, but even Rosie's time, he takes Rosie's time sometimes.
Okay, so my question was, couldn't Jazlyn have gone to catechism during Rosie's time?
She tried. I had already told the teachers that she would be going every other week.
And so why didn't she go during Rosie's time?
Because he took her away. He said that he wouldn't let her come with me. Ignacio wouldn't let her come with me.
He said that to Rosie, correct? He never said that to you directly.
Yes.
And so Rosie was relaying all of this to you?
Yes.
Okay. You were talking a little bit about the kid's first words. Was Ignacio there for Alan's first words?
No.
Okay. You have another child, right? We've established that that's Henry Jr., who you guys have called Kikis?
Yes.
Okay. And if Henry had spoken his first words in front of Ignacio and you weren't there, how would that make you feel as a father?
How would I know if I wasn't there?
Right. So if nobody had told you and you didn't find out until 9 years later, how would that make you feel?
Again, if I wasn't there, I don't know how I would feel.
Okay, so you can't tell me how you would feel if you found out 9 years after the birth of your son, Kikis, that he was your child and he had said Dada, his first words, to another man. You don't know how that would make you feel?
I would have to reflect on that for a second.
Okay,
I'm
I don't
sure.
have any further did you want to finish your answer? I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay, I don't have any further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Redirect. counsel? Redirect?
Why didn't you ever ask Ignacio for child support?
Because I am the father of the kids, and I provided what they needed. I didn't have a need to ask them.
You mentioned preventing conflict, and that Rosie told you there would be conflict if you reached out. Is that accurate?
To prevent conflict between her and him, and from Ignacio and myself, possibly going into a type of argument or a disagreement.
So you didn't talk to Ignacio for Rosie's benefit?
No.
I just wanted to object to the last question, which was which assumed, I guess, that Rosie had asked Henry not to talk to Ignacio. I don't believe that was testified to.
Strike and
So
pass the
it's
witness.
an objection as beyond the scope of direct?
It assumes facts not in evidence. Nobody has testified that Rosie told Henry not to talk to Ignacio.
Okay, overruled. Next question?
That's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, anything further, Ms. Locks?
No, Judge, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay.
Does Rosie want to ask any questions?
Rosie?
Yes, can I talk?
Yes, you can ask,
Oh, no,
you
you
can
can
ask questions to Henry. You can't necessarily just talk, but go ahead.
Oh, no. I just want to tell him that, ask Henry, did I tell you not to talk to Ignacio?
No.
Mm-mm. That's it, Your Honor.
Okay, next witness?
While I adjust, Your Honor. Unless opposing counsel wants to hear from Rosie, I am content with just those two.
Okay, the court has a couple questions. Ms. Locks, when you were questioning Ignacio and he was sworn in, I was interested in a timeline of historical visitation patterns, and I think you said you were going to get back to it. And I think you got to it a little bit, but I need a little more information on that. Do you think you could ask
sure.
Ignacio, and then if I feel like you're missing a year, or missing a date, or missing a time, or missing the frequency, then I'm going to ask the questions myself. But if you could try, I would really appreciate it.
Sure, Judge. Give me just 1 second to find my notes, and then
Yes.
court's indulgent for just a moment.
Let's take a 3-minute bathroom break. Does that sound like a plan?
Great.
If it can
Thank
be
you.
5, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, 5-minute bathroom break. Thank you.